Hi, guys, and welcome to our first community call 2025. And of course, the best way to start the year is to start in a way that you can actually build on. So that's why we have OnlyDust today. And we have a very special guest, which is Emily. And she will give us a very deep dive into OnlyDust and as well the new structure they have around OD Boost. So basically, I got to learn about the new name because it was OD Hack before, but right now it's OD Boost. So everyone in this community call will actually learn about OnlyDust and also the new structure as well. But before then, okay, let me just intro myself. I'm Paul, the CM at Starknet Africa, and I would let Emily to introduce herself before we head on.
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Emilie. I am part of the OnlyDust team and I help build the community around OnlyDust.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So first off, I pretty much want to learn about your background, how you actually got to join the Starknet ecosystem and as well how you got to join Only Dust generally.
So it's quite random. I have a bit of a random background. I studied like business and communications and then got into the Web 2 tech world early on. Like I started my internships in there. And then from there, I moved on to create my own food shop. So nothing related to tech or Web 3. So only Dust like honestly just came to me like a gift from heaven. Let's say I didn't
Yeah.
know anything about open source, didn't know anything about Starknet ecosystem, but when the opportunity presented itself, I found it really interesting. I thought that there was definitely something to do here, and started to deep dive. So I feel like I grew with OnlyDust, grew with the Starknet ecosystem as well, and yeah, that's basically how it started. So quite random, but I feel that that's. I mean, it's interesting because like for me that's the magic as well of Web 3 and as well as Starknet, because you have so many different opportunities to explore. You don't necessarily need to come from a Web 3 background per se.
Yeah, pretty much. On my own case, I got to, of course, know about Stacknet before I learned about OnlyDots, right? So basically, you got into Stacknet ecosystem before you got to know about OnlyDots. Was it the other way around?
It was the other way around.
Mm.
It was only Dust that I got to know about, and then when I started exploring the open source world and seeing that only Dust collaborated very closely with Starknet. That's how I got more knowledge in. So yeah, it was only Dust and then Starknet.
Oh, nice. That's exactly the opposite of like for me on my own end. Well, that's very very true. So basically, my next question is around OD hack. Well, of course, you guys like have rebranded the name to OD Boost, but before then, I would actually want you to talk about the upcoming OD Boost, which is on the January 22nd, and what are the expectations? Based on your post, I saw that there will be like 50 projects coming up,
Yes.
which is very, very massive. So I actually want to get an insight on that and also learn about the takeaways from the previous OD hack from 1 to the 11th edition of the OD hacks before it turned to OD Boost.
Cool. Yeah. So I think that what we can first start to talk about is basically how it, the whole year, right? The whole year, and why we're changing as well the name. I think that could be interesting to discuss. But like the takeaways of last year, that we had 11 editions of OD hacks, and for me what was amazing to see was how fast we grew. And we like it grew really progressively. We started off, for example, with just like 30 participants in the first edition, for example, if I'm not mistaken, and we grew to like 400 participants in the last edition. So you can see really the growth of it, and as well the project scope grew as we gained in popularity. And
Yeah.
so we're changing the name today to OD Boost because OD Hack, it provided to be a bit confusing for newcomers. So for those of you that don't know, OD Hack, now known as OD Boost, it's a monthly event that we do, where it's a 10 long day week event where contributors can come and tackle open issues from participating projects that are also on board to create these issues and to find external contributors. So it's really about onboarding new contributors, helping them to develop their skills, have them explore projects, and it's been great. It's been great, and I don't remember your question though. If you wanted to deep dive into a question regarding that, but yeah, what was also interesting about the OD hacks and what's going to continue with the OD boost is the fact that you can be rewarded for when you make an eligible contribution and eligible PR. So that was also something that was important for the community.
Awesome. So, okay, yeah. So you answered the question of how the past OD hacks has been. So currently for the OD boost, you made mention of I think is it retroactive participation or contribution? Like how exactly would that work with the current like system you set up?
You mean like the new retroactive funding that
Yeah.
we're doing? Okay,
Yes.
so with the key takeaways about the last OD hack events,
Yeah.
we started to see that it. I mean, we became a victim of the success. It grew really fast, right? But it was it was a bit hard for newcomers to come in to tackle issues and to continue a bit along the way after the event finished. And so
Yeah.
what we want is that's why as mentioned, that's why we're changing the name to OD Boost for contributors to understand that this is here that the event is here for you to participate in, contribute, explore projects, join the communities, but then you can still continue working onwards afterwards, right? So what we've been doing, what we were going to start to do to put up in place is retroactive grants, where for the Starknet projects that are on the platform, we are going to be providing retroactive grants based on the project's performance during the last month. So its activity. And this will be done using our internal algorithm according to metrics that we set up. So typically, the performance of a project, maybe for example, how many new persons that they onboarded, how many contributors they onboarded in general, etc. And they will receive a grant each month based on that performance. And that budget is going to be for the project, so essentially for the maintainers. Now, to incentivize contributors to actively contribute regularly in projects, develop their skills, we are going to do the same thing based again on performance metrics that we are going to put in place and send to contributors retroactive grants according to the performance that they had during the month. That way, just because you participated in just the OD Boost week, it's great because it helps you get a boost in skills and rewards. But we're going to take into account the month's activity. That way, it's more continuous.
Oh, cool, cool.
Did
So
that make sense?
Yes, actually it does. My takeaway from this is that, I mean, I've actually like followed OD Hack participants over the past few months, and I realized, okay, there's a ton of the same people over time. So my takeaway from OD Boost is that it would attract new developers, new builders to come and explore OnlyDust and also the projects that are part of the OD Boost as well. I guess that's correct.
Yes, and it's the idea is to attract newcomers, and that's why we have many new projects coming on for this OD boost of varying levels. We can talk about that a bit later,
Mhm.
but it's also to reward contributors that are here in the long term, right? That are here because they want to develop their skills. They're they're engaged in projects in the community.
Awesome.
So that's why, yeah, we want to do this to be as well as fair as possible for everyone, and to really continue this open source collaborativeness. Don't know if that's a word, but that's the idea, to yeah, to value long-term engagements.
Awesome. That's cool. So I would love to get an insight on the, although you have spoken about this a little bit, but then with up to 40 projects that are no 50, I mean 50, yeah. The numbers are increasing
I
like over
lied.
time.
I lied. Well, I did not lie. It's just that when I tweeted 40 projects, it
Yeah.
was 40 projects, and then it came right up. So I was like, oh no, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. So with up to 50 projects participating in the upcoming Audi Boost, right? Like could you give us a sneak peek of what kind of project, and also if there are any like stuffs to anything to like expect, let's say from a contributor perspective.
Wait, can you re-say the last question? I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Okay, so I said, is there like a sneak peek you can
Yes.
give us? So
So
maybe,
So
yeah.
yes. The sneak peek, you can actually go now to the page. I don't know whether I can share that in the chat, or maybe we can share that later. But you can go and register now on the OD Boost page, and you will be able to see all of the projects that are participating. And this time out, we have many projects from Starknet, and they are looking for newcomers, which is great for those of you that want to test out your skills, but also projects that have quite a bit of smart contract issues that they would like to be worked on. So if you are skilled at Cairo, or been learning just starting out in Cairo, you will get opportunities to explore those projects. And yeah, so everything is already on the page itself. And if you are interested in other ecosystems, well, I'm not going to talk about that because we're talking about Starknet, right? But there are also opportunities in other ecosystems. So what I tend to do to recommend for newcomers is have a look, right? Have a look, get to learn about the ecosystem that you're interested in, get to look at the projects as well. Many projects may do a lot of descriptions. We have many different categories. So you have like DeFi, gaming, infrastructures, and so forth. So quite a big scope, I would say, different tracks. And you can also join the Telegram group of OD community, where I post regularly new information, and I communicate on the different community groups as well from the different projects, which I always recommend contributors to join, because it's super important to just say hello, introduce yourself, talk to the maintainers, deep dive in it. Don't be afraid.
Awesome. Cool. Cool. That's cool. Yeah, I actually, I mean, I'm part of the group on Telegram, right? So I actually advise anyone to join the group to follow up on updates, and as well follow OnlyDust on Twitter. So you spoke about OD Boost, giving like it would give newcomers opportunities to to dive into different ecosystem, particularly like Starknet, right? But then I'm quite curious, does any of this track like give non someone that is non-technical the ability to contribute as well?
No, I'm sorry to say no. So there are some projects may have like one or two issue regarding docs, right?
Okay.
Documents and those there may be. I haven't seen yet, but there are some in the past that have. And so I recommend for those that are non-technical that if you are interested in those, make sure that you know the ecosystem, or that you really deep dive into the project before asking to be assigned to it. But unfortunately, not yet. I would say on OnlyDust we really value developers, because that's what ecosystems look for. They would like technical developers, contributors, to help advance projects. So things like product design, for example, because there's quite a bit of designers out there. It's not yet on the OnlyDust platform, but however, I know that there are opportunities in Starknet ecosystem for that. But if you're looking for it specifically on OnlyDust, I would say very, very little. So it's really technical. I would say it's very technical. I don't know if you agree with that, Paul, but
I do agree with that. I mean, that's a very good answer, right? So this actually like
very diplomatic answer.
yeah. So basically, this person I'm about to ask right now, it's also I actually want to learn from it as well, because I mean, when it comes to community building, it's not an easy ask. I mean, especially the fact that you have only Dust and you as well have built its community to a very large extent, right? So I'm actually like very curious. What's like strategies? I mean, you can of course like not say it since you're not meant to say, right? But then what strategies like has only Dust used over the past few years to foster such engaged and growing contributor community?
I would say like we tested out, a few things. I would say like when you community build, you always need to try different strategies. But like what I've seen building the community is to always be authentic, always be human, always take time. Like the idea is really have conversations with the people, build the relationship, and try to always help out, support to the community, see, take their feedback, really listen to it. And that's how we grew with the project as well, because we always took feedback from the community. So I feel like we also grew with the community building, right? But I do think that interaction is very important, because it helps with word of mouth afterwards. Because when contributors and maintainers are happy, they're going to talk about the product, the platform. And we've also been really, really blessed by having community leaders too that help onboard contributors in different regions, which pushes the community forward. And the idea is, yeah, put yourself out there, talk with people. And that's why I mean, I feel that communication is really important. And it's not just, I think, for community building. I think it's also like to help you find new opportunities, right? To explore um, other opportunities in the ecosystem. It's always important to communicate. I don't know how you feel when you being part of Starting Africa, how you build your community, but through meetups and events. But it's really about in interaction, right? Like
Yes,
authentic relations. You're not. I don't think like you're not here to sell something. You're here to create real
exactly.
engagement. So yeah, I think that like for me especially, I think that that's what's important when you build communities. And yeah, and as mentioned, to have also when like Web3, it's worldwide, right? So it's also important to talk to people in different areas. And yeah, as mentioned, community ambassadors or community leads that can help on board on people locally. That's very important.
Yes, I would say, and I would say, proper communication is very, very important when it comes to community building, and that's actually one of the key takeaway from what you just said, and also making like being very, very, interactive with your community, your audience, and as well, just like you said, having community leaders basically, because of course you can't be in every region. You have to have people as well, like make those contacts for you, right? So that helps pretty much, and it makes community building like very, very smooth and very cool. And I like what OnlyDust is doing. They have a very strong community worldwide, basically, which is awesome. Yeah.
It is,
So
and I think that it's also because, I mean, honestly, I always say that, but the people are great. Like the
yeah,
community itself, in Starknet ecosystem, in Web3, I feel that that it's just easy, or maybe I feel that it's easy. I don't know, that people are naturally, great. Everyone wants to help one another.
yeah, especially when you do the right stuff. So if you're building a community and maybe you are a bit harsh to your community, it won't be that easy, right? But then when you put up a good environment where it helps people collaborate, communicate, and also support each other, it makes it very awesome and also easy. Like you said, word of mouth. People can easily like tell others about, okay, only does this is how I've actually earned, and also it makes it like very, very easy. Yes. So you made mention of open source contributions, right? And like, okay, how would I actually put these questions, right? So on your own like perspective, right? How do you think open source contribution like has helped Web3 generally? Because a lot of people don't like have jobs, like real time jobs, right? And open source contribution have actually helped them to gain some ground. And also, like, what's your perspective on how actually like do you see this? And of course, since you are building only Dust, um, yeah, what do you think about open source like generally, especially in Web3?
I think that from what I see is that you use open source to build your skills, right? And
Mhm.
it's I think it's not easy nowadays to, especially when you're a student, to find jobs very fast, even if you are a developer. So what I've been seeing is that open source contributions helps them their portfolio, and when they start building, like contributing to projects, it can help also with their self-confidence to maybe build their own project themselves, to manage it, and then move from there, to gain more contacts with other people in the ecosystem, and then possibly find a long-term job elsewhere. And we've been seeing that. We've been seeing people that came onto OnlyDust that were contributing to projects, and then because they were good contributors, the project themselves have hired them, for instance. That's just great. Or those that are looking for internships in Web3 in general, if you don't have the baggage, or anything to show, open source contribution, it's a good portfolio. It shows your activity, what you've been doing, and yeah, I think it's very useful. It's very useful, and it helps advance projects as well,
Mhm.
to the next stage.
Yeah. Yeah, there's this popular phrase which is build in the open, right? Because when you are doing these things, like someone is watching, and as well, maybe if you do some very reasonable contributions, you might get employed and all. And apart from, developers, right? If you're also like a content creator, or you're a technical writer, and you do all these stuffs like in the open, it kind of gives you a boost that, okay, anyone could see your work, and yeah, I mean, you get on from there, and maybe you could get a job and all, right? So
Yeah,
we actually,
it's sorry,
yeah,
I was gonna say it's tangible in the sense that you can if when you're a student, I'm taking the example of a student, you it's hard to tell people, yeah, I have these skills, these language skills. Like, how do you prove it? Well, I
yeah,
believe that open source can show. I'm doing this. I've been contributing to these and these projects.
sure,
Here it is.
true, true, true. So basically, we're almost coming to the end of this call. I mean, it wasn't planned to be long, right? But then they have like one more question I have for you, right? For
Yeah.
maybe if there's questions from the audience, they could ask as well. So it's always all about like thinking long term, right? So for for only those, like was what does the future look like for them, or also for OD Boost, and yeah, basically what's your long term plan as well? Was what plans we have for 2025?
Many that are secret. No, I'm kidding. So I think that look the long term, the long term changes. Well, it's let's not talk about long term. Let's talk a bit more about what's going to happen in the next month, because everything can change, right? But
Mhm.
as mentioned, the retroactive grant funding, I think that that's really important because we're going to test that out. And so
Yeah,
with the feedback from the community, we'll be able to make it even better. And I think that that is an important change of 2000 and the beginning of 2025, to do this, to create value in a different way and more sustainable way. And definitely we're going to shake things up as well on the platform itself with new features and a new, like, well, for those of you that are familiar with the platform, there's going to be new things coming out that's going to be much more useful for contributors, but as well for maintainers, to make experience more fluid, for contributors to have more information about projects themselves. And the idea is to be able to really see all of the issues that are available across the board. So there's quite a few things that are shaping up. So it's exciting.
awesome. It's actually very exciting. I mean, I feel, not that I feel, I know only this has been so impactful to a lot of people, right? Because I mean, when you come into an ecosystem, you have to ask, okay, what can I do here, right? So whenever someone comes in and they ask that question, you can easily tell them, okay, there's only dust. I mean, you can head there and do one or two stuffs to end, right? So that's basically all the question I have for you, though. So do you have like any few ways you have for people that are watching right now, maybe open source contributors, or people that are part of the community, or people that are looking forward to join OnlyDust, so to contribute through OnlyDust?
You guys can all come and talk to me if you want, if you need help, if you need any support, for if you have any questions about the platform. I'm here. I'm available. And I just saw the tweet from Oxford, but yeah, no, just basically don't hesitate to reach out. I would say, for those of you that that are watching, for the new contributors, because yeah, sometimes it's scary to make that move, but we're here. We're all ears. So yeah, feel free.
Yeah, I think one good stuff I like about you as the head of community, right? So you reply so fast, which is very cool, and it makes communication, like just like you said, very easy, and also makes people feel okay, they're part of something good, right? So for everyone that has joined this call so far, thank you for joining our first community call. And we have a lot more planned for this year, right? So we will have the second community call in the next few weeks. So we'll talk about our plans for the year. But we had to make this call with only those because of the upcoming OD boost, which is very crucial if you want to start your year in a very good way, and looking forward to as well coming to the standard ecosystem. So from my own end, I don't really have so much. So if you are new, I always recommend OnlyDust to you. And if you really like building on Starknet ecosystem, you should as well keep on contributing and keep on being active in the Starknet ecosystem. Just like the team would say, Starknet will melt faces, right? So let's keep on contributing and keep uh, doing great stuff generally. So yeah, that has it
Indeed.
basically from yeah, I don't know if we have any questions. There's no questions. Okay, so I love what you guys are doing, and yeah, there's no question. So since there's no questions, we'll look forward to seeing you on the next community call as well. Don't forget to register for the upcoming OD Boost and follow Only Dust on Twitter and also follow them on join their Telegram group and also follow Stagnant Africa on all social media as well. And we look forward to seeing you on the next community call. Bye.
Yes. Bye. Thank you so much, Paul. And bye,
Yeah.
everyone. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye.